Hi, I'm the lone journalist for KRAZ TV with another book review. We're going to have all these at the Zero channel because we're doing mineral shows at KRAZ TV channel. So all the books are over there at Zero channel at KRAZ TV. Well, this one, kind of like this next one, are for the little guy and for home, and that one's for winemaking, and this is for brew. So, it's Brew It Yourself, Professional Craft Blueprints for Home Brewing by Erik Spellmeyer and Recipes and Foreword by Floyd. So, their pictures are back here. There's Erik, there's Floyd. Lovely little book. Everything you need to know about homemaking. And the secret is being clean, knowing your tastes. A lot of the recipes all follow a process to where you first make mash and wort and then boil it down and all that. So it's extract brewing, or getting dirty while being extremely clean. All grain, so you grind your grain up and sprout it instead of using extracts from the malt and stuff, and before and after thoughts. So it really just is fairly straightforward. It says beer is the third most consumed beverage in the world behind water and tea, and the most consumed alcohol in the world. Started, well, sometimes people are claiming that grain-based beer, it goes back to 9,500 BC. But there's evidence around the Zagros Mountains of western Iran of 3,500 BC. So this was before even, I guess, the Egyptians. Now the Egyptians paid their workers in beer. So, but he talks about a little guy, the experience. You can be knowledgeable. It says even if you don't have much interest in drinking beer, basic knowledge about the age-old tradition of making your own beer can increase your understanding of the people around you. There is a historical tradition whose peculiarities may intrigue you even if you're never intended to boil your own wort. It isn't really that hard to do, but you have to be correct on temperature. You cannot get it too hot. You can't let it scorch. You have to make sure it gets clean. Well, you have to be clean the whole time and clear it up. So one is extract home brewing, two all grain. So malt your own grain, mill your own grain, mash your own grain. So that's a whole different. Then they talk about the hops, and when it's boiling, you add them in different stages, and it's called IBUs, International Bitter Units, and that's, well, the offset. But light beers have very little in it, I suppose, and dried hop pellets, and there are beers that don't use the hops at all, but it's become the tradition. It's really in the yeast too. You got Brettanomyces, and that is a lot of the Belgian beers, and that's the farm taste. But there's other types of yeast and amazing. So you gotta. He said you get a timer. So it says bring the pot to a rolling boil. Set your timer to 60 minutes from the boil. Relax, stir it occasionally, and get those hot additions ready. So you got to have everything sterile. It shows you all the tools here. It's a little dark, but they're all there. Funnels and spargers and wort chillers. As soon as you boil it and get it ready to go, you really have to chill it down fast and in the clean so that it can be inoculated. You get it too warm, and the yeast, well, it kills them. It's too hot. It says if you're using a clear vessel, direct light can damage your beer. So there's a lot of little tricks, but once you get going with it, it's really straightforward, and all you deviate then from the knowledge is changing recipes. But as far as like hot liquor back, mash tun and mashing in, and all of those things, they're all standard procedures. So You start out with a grain and malt it and mill it, then you grist it, then you mash it in, and sparging. It's called the strike when you go to add get the strike water ready. And then it says once you've achieved your ideal temperature of 152 to 160, it's time to mash in. How much water to use for your strike is something brewers spend dialing in. The thought is generally folks are brewing approximately a 5-gallon batch. So the water ratio is important as to having a reasonable grasp how heat and evaporation affect the brewing process. As I just it says most home brewers agree that the ideal ratio is 1.2 to 1.5 quarts of water to each pound of grain. So, and you just you got to keep the air out of it after that. Remember temperature. You want to keep your mash as close to 150 to 155 as possible throughout the duration of the mash. So this is where it's picking up sugars. You want to change your starches to sugars. So it's a really good thing. You talk about gravity and spectrometers, how to use the spectrometer. If you drop it in here, the neck of the spectrometer will go right here at this meniscus, because surface tension on the liquid will cause it to crawl up on the side of the vessels just a wee bit. Now he goes into the original gravities, IBS units, and standard reference methods. So it goes by colors, bitterness, and then they talk about the hops addition. So all these are little recipes once you've got that main process behind you, from the mashing in and the wort and all of that, and the sparging and fermentation. Then he's got little beer logs back here for typing it. So this is a good book to buy. Yeah, it's only $14, and I got this book at the Tucson Pima County Library, so I'm going to take it back. But I don't make much beer, but I am a wine maker professionally, or was. I'm Arizona's first sparkling winemaker. So this is called Zymurgy, and the other one's called Enology. So Zymurgy is something I haven't really done that much of, but I explore it quite a bit, and I may just start taking it up. I have all the equipment except for the wort chillers and stuff like that, but as far as fermentation locks and yeasts and hydrometers and refractometers and all of that, well, they're used across the industry in alcohol making. Alcohol by volume, ABV. Well, get the book like we did at the library, or order it from microcosmpublishing.com. I'm KRAZ-TV and Dr. Martin, the lone journalist. Watch our other shows.